Healthcare for All, the Democratic promise that could heal a broken nation. And here it is in summary. Every election cycle, everybody's talking about freedom and security and opportunity. But you can't have any of those things if you're sick and you can't get well. And you can't get well because you can't afford to go to the doctor or pay for your medication or go to the hospital or, whatever it may take. This isn't just a policy failure in the richest nation in the world. It's a moral collapse. And it's the one issue that could unite the country, reshape the Democratic Party, and finally prove that compassion isn't a weakness, it's a strength. I mean, right now you've got the guy, remember Scott Adams, this kind of wackadoodle libertarian who did the Dilbert cartoon. He's on Elon Musk's Nazi-infested social media platform begging Donald Trump to force Kaiser Permanente to give him an infusion of a drug for his prostate cancer. Apparently they don't want to do it. I don't know how screwed up that is or what's going on. It is an indication of how screwed up our healthcare system is, that you've got people reaching out to the president on X, and the president apparently replying, "I'm on it." But, here we are. When John McCain walked out on the floor of the Senate, one of the last things he did before he died, actually, and gave a thumbs down and he was the deciding vote, to the vote that would have killed the Affordable Care Act. It would have stripped health care of thrown 24 million Americans off their health care. And Donald Trump last night on 60 Minutes said, we were one vote away from having a much better health care system. In other words, no Affordable Care Act. This is the Republicans' plan. As Alan Grayson once famously said, the Republican health care plan has, 3 parts. Number 1, don't get sick. Well, 2 parts, I guess. Number 2, if you do get sick, die quickly. It's like, that's their plan. And they're still at it. I mean, when McCain did the thumbs down, that was roughly the 70th time Republicans in the House or Senate had tried to end Obamacare. It's over 100 times now. And, not only are they still at it, but the big, beautiful billionaire bill actually guts the Affordable Care Act and, and does away with these, what do they call them? Tax credit subsidies. And this is causing people to discover now, there's 24.2 million people on, or maybe it's 25.2 million people, roughly 25 million people on ACA health plans, that their rates are going up, in some cases, more than 100%, more than doubling in the next couple of months. Now, the Republicans thought they could hide this because they thought that with the whole government shutdown thing and everything, and they thought that the Democrats would cave. But the Democrats haven't caved. They're holding to this. And now November 1st came. Now, the Republicans had actually refused to put up on the government website what the new prices were going to be, because they thought that, by the time anybody figures this out, the shutdown will be over, quack, quack, quack. And they were using the shutdown as their excuse. Well, now they can't do that anymore. The government's still not publishing the numbers, but the insurance companies are. And people are discovering, holy cow, it's getting really expensive. We are the only developed country in the world that doesn't have a national health care plan. That's it. Of the 34 OECD countries, the 34 richest countries in the world, and by the way, that goes all the way down to Costa Rica. Of the 34 OECD countries in the world, Europe, Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, Asia, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Western Europe, Costa Rica, several countries in Central America, South America. There were 500,000 bankruptcies last year. People lost their homes, they lost everything because somebody in their family got sick. 500,000 people out of all these countries. All of those people, 100% of that 500,000 people were here in the United States, because we're the only country that doesn't have a national health care system. Back in 2016, when Bernie Sanders was running in the Democratic primary and saying that we needed to have Medicare for all, And Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Democrats were saying, no, that's socialism. America doesn't want socialism. And the Republicans were saying, oh, no, that's communism. We don't want communism. Bernie's proposal was considered a little outside the mainstream, in part because, private equity was just starting at that point. This was, this was a generation ago. This is 15 years ago. Private equity was just starting to, in fact, 2015. Yeah, it was a decade ago. Private equity was just starting to buy up medical practices and hospitals and radically jack up prices. Health insurance company consolidation had been, kind of kept under control, and the health insurance companies were sort of behaving okay, I guess. But hey, we're down the road from that. And we have seen, we've just seen this explosion. We spend 17% of GDP on healthcare in the United States. Switzerland, Germany, France, Sweden, and Japan all average around 11%. Canada, Denmark, Belgium, Austria, Norway, Netherlands, United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, all coming in between 9.3 and 10.5%. Health insurance premiums right now make up 22% of all taxable payroll. With Medicare for all, it would be around 10%. It would save me money. It would save you money. It would save our country money. The one thing it would do that it wouldn't save is this giant blood-sucking tick that has attached itself to our backs called health insurance companies. Dollar Bill McGuire, the former CEO of United Healthcare, made over $1.5 billion. His successor, Stephen Hemsley, who now runs the company again, over $500 million. And that's just, two guys in one company. I mean, there's an entire industry of this stuff. So what I'm saying is it's time for Democrats to take a bold position. If Democrats are looking for a policy position, if Democrats want to do nationwide what Zoran Mamdani is doing in New York City right now, and he's not even talking about health care for all, he is talking about, free some child services, mostly daycare. But if they want to do that, if they want to have that kind of popularity, this is the way to do it. Medicare for all. Its time is here. I'm telling you. People are waking up. People are pissed. And the biggest part of inflation right now, the most visible part, are healthcare and groceries. And of course, Democrats don't have to run on just one thing. They can run on both those things. And I would add in education. But pick three, and those would be my three. What say you? I think this is a winning thing for Democrats.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
And we've got a year to get into, to the midterm elections here. So time to start planning, Democrats.